But everybody knows that this is being done for political purposes. Each of the indictments, especially the federal ones, we can talk about the Georgia ones too, in New York. But the reason why you have these principles, the reason why the department has outlined them in writing for every AUSA and every federal prosecutor to consider is because of these considerations of perception of the American people, of the justice system. Who is going to be targeted for prosecution? Who is going to be subject to investigations? And why? And if we get to a point in this country, which I think we've already passed, as to where you think, because of the way you believe, the things you believe and the things that you do that are in the political realm, in what Americans have always viewed as protected activity, that you can be prosecuted and you can be investigated by the FBI, we're in a really dangerous place. Because it's not just about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the perfect example of selective weaponized prosecution, and we all see it. But it's because of the perceptions that it sets for the entire country. So if you are a person who has conservative beliefs and you see these prosecutions, you see these indictments, you see Garland's memo on school boards, you see all of these other factors lining up, your faith and your confidence in the federal government is shot. It is not there anymore. And that is very destabilizing. And people don't sit back and think about that. When you're Jack Smith, you're Merrick Garland, and you're thinking about bringing these charges, you have to also consider the stability of the country. That this is not some small factor. This is something that you actually have to think about, because when the people, when the governed lose trust in their representatives, in their federal government, it's a really dangerous place, and it can lead to really bad things and dangerous things, and we don't need to be there as a country. Now, I think each of these indictments and each of these charges that we see against President Trump are legally flawed for many, many reasons. But I want to highlight the Mar-a-Lago one in particular, because one of these things of missing the forest for the trees that's present in that case that a lot of folks need to take a step back and think about is how is it, so assuming, so you hear a lot of arguments, and you see a lot of arguments on social media, and other commentators have rightly pointed out that under the Presidential Records Act, the president gets to decide which records are his and which ones aren't. Okay, great. I agree with that principle of statutory interpretation.